speech from my speaking online class through MACC. My heart was in my throat. I had sweat rolling down my blushing cheeks that could have been described as a waterfall. I had a puddle of sweat forming at my stomach and my back. The blazing heat was intensifying in my marvelous black cowboy hat. My jeans were sticking to me like syrup on pancakes. I hate waiting in the misery of the heat. I love running barrels with Beauty and showing my champ. My family and I were at Buckland for a horse show. We parked our horse trailer under the tree so the horses could keep as cool as possible. Dave, my stepdad, and I walked to the registration table to enter Beauty and Champ in our speed and show events. The head woman was there to greet us. "Good afternoon," she said. Dave and I said our hellos and filled out our registration paperwork. I love speed events, so I signed up for several of them. Barrels, poles, down and backs, flags, and several trick events. I signed up for one show event, Western Horsemanship. I don't find them very entertaining. They're slow-paced and dull. They just seem like a problem. Back from the registration table, I noticed Champ becoming aggravated with the trailer. He wanted to stand next to our mare, Beauty. He was tugging and pulling on the trailer like a game of tug-of-war. "Oh no!" Dave and I shouted. We ran to the trailer to stop him. Before we knew it, he had cut his right pass turn. Blood was spraying all over his clean, polished sock. Dave and I did our best to calm him and get him banished before the show, but the clock was ticking. We continued to press down to stop the bleeding. The blood eventually died down. It was clotted enough that he was going to be able to walk. But we had another problem. Due to the blood, Champ's sock was pink. First call for Western Horsemanship was being called over the loudspeakers. I quickly ran to the front of the trailer to the tack room to get the white show spray paint. "Hopefully this will help," I cried. I tried to keep the white from not looking too awkward against the rest of his socks. It was no use. Second call from Western Horsemanship was being called over the loudspeakers. I had to get over there. I took Champ and headed over to the arena. He wasn't walking right. "Come on, let's go," I urged him. I kept pushing him. At the gate before we entered the arena to get judged, I noticed that his pass turn was bleeding again. The white show paint began to slide down his hoof into the dirt. "What a mess," I muttered. The bloody, dirty leg was sticking out like a sore thumb. When you enter the arena, you walk to the first cone. We managed to do that just fine. After the first cone, you go immediately to a lope while you run next to your horse. This was a problem. Champ wouldn't lope. He pulled and tugged on the lead rope. Nothing. "Would you lope?" I begged him. I pulled backwards. He just pulled backwards and went at his own speed all the way to the second cone. I felt like the laughingstock of the arena. From the second cone to the third, you walk. Again, this was not a problem. From the third to the fourth cone, you walk in a circle. Once you reach the fourth cone, you make a circle with your horse by pushing away from you. So you were then on the outside of your circle. Well, Champ decided to push back. "Turn, turn," I cried. My circle circumference was at least 10 feet. When you make a proper circle when turning a horse, your back feet of the horse shouldn't even move. Epic fail, I thought. After the circle, you stop and pose for the judge. I couldn't even begin to get him to pose. I just went with it and hoped for the best. After the judge dismisses you, you make a half circle and back up. Champ fought me like I was trying to put him down. My face was redder than Champ's bloody pass turn. We walked over to wait for our rating. I was so mad at that horse. We stood waiting for ratings and he decided to throw his head. This is something that a good trained show horse never does. It's simply uncalled for. I looked around to make sure no one would notice. I smacked him on the neck and gave him a firm "Stop it." He shaped up like a soldier from boot camp. In conclusion, I was greeted at the gate with congrats and good jobs from my friends and family. I received last place in my Western Horsemanship category. I simply can't imagine why. Champ was so well behaved. Right. From that show on, I decided to drop all show events. This allowed me to only have to bring one horse, not Champ. What a sigh of relief.